What is going on, everybody? My name is Dakota and welcome back to Coda's Cologne. Today we're going to be looking at and reviewing Rasasi's Hawas Fire. Let's get into it. So I picked this fragrance up a few weeks ago, and with all of the mess of all the new fragrances coming in and everything else, this one kind of got pushed to the back. So that's why we're going to show this one a little bit of love today. This is going to be today's scent of the day. It is a wonderfully stormy afternoon. So we're just going to chill at the house. We're going to play with some fragrances today. And we're going to start off the way we always like to start off, and that is going to be showing off the atomizer. And the atomizers on these are very, very good. They're not highly pressurized, but this thing moves an incredible amount of juice. It's got a far burst, it's got a wide burst. This thing will put down a lot of liquid. Sorry about that, had to make a small camera adjustment. But what you get when this fragrance first gets in the air is kind of something different than I was expecting. So this fragrance has already started up a little bit of a controversy regarding the notes to it. For me, what I'm getting when I get in the air is a lot of fruitiness. I get a little bit of a saltiness. I get a little bit of a mineral vibe, not a whole lot, but a little, but also get a good dose of different citruses. This is very fruity citrus kind of on the opening. That's kind of where this one, the notes fight with what's been put out, because Rasasi's website has one or two different note listings. Fragrantica has one note listing, Parfumo has another note listing. So as far as the note breakdown goes, I'm going to go ahead and go with the one I feel like fits this one the most based off what I can pick up. So as far as the top notes go, it's got apple, lemon, cinnamon, and bergamot, which when you first spray this on the nose of it, you do get a lot of citrus and you get a lot of that fruitiness as well. The fruitiness comes from the plum that's going to be in the mid of this. The middle notes on this are going to be cardamom, orange blossom, and plum. Some of the orange blossom comes through as it dries down a little bit, but a lot of that plum is going to be noticeable almost immediately. And the base notes of this is going to be amber, driftwood, musk, and patchouli. But Rasasi is almost infamous for using that driftwood, and you notice it a little more in this one than I have in any of the other ones that they've went that direction with it. And it's paired very nicely with some of that fruitiness, because that fruitiness you kind of get from the opening all the way into the far depths of the dry down, but we can talk about the far dry down later. So now what we're going to do is we're going to talk about price, performance, and availability. So price wise, you can pick this up for about 35, 40 bucks. I got mine off Joma. I pretty well think the discounted route's the only way you're going to be able to get one of these. And as far as the performance go, Rasasi did not let us down. So this thing, it doesn't perform as well as, say, like Hawas Black does, but that fragrance is in a tier of its own when it comes to performance. Longevity wise, I got about 8 or 9 hours of. Sillage wise, very big sillage, 3-4 feet, and projection was 1-2 feet as well. So in terms of performance, Hawas knows how to make these things pump. But the same as this, as some of the other Hawases, sometimes that performance can kind of be the downfall of this fragrance. The only problem with some of the Hawas fragrances is because they do tend to stay a little bit more linear, because they do have a little bit of a synthetic nature, sometimes can come across a little bit cloying. This one of the 4 that I own, by far to me, is the best Hawas. Ice was another really good one, but this one I think does take the cake. This one has the most change from opening to dry down. This one feels almost like the most complete. To me, this doesn't really smell exactly like any one thing. It kind of reminds me of some stuff floating in the middle, but this doesn't really smell exactly like anything. As far as this fragrance goes in the Hawas line, I'm gonna double down on it. I think this one by far is the best, most complete one they've made. I haven't tried the Elixir yet. I've heard the Elixir is supposed to be very similar to Jean Paul Gaultier's Long Elixir, so I can't really put that one in the mix yet. All right, so now let's talk dry down a little bit. This fragrance dries down pretty much into what it's gonna be in about 20 to 30 minutes. It doesn't have the biggest change in the world. The main change that my nose can pick up is some of that citrousness, some of the crisp notes that you kind of get off the top. Some of the cinnamon kind of dies down a little bit. This does have a little bit of a spiciness to it. The spice isn't anything that's overwhelming. I get more of that fruity driftwood kind of vibe, especially in the dry down. Because when it starts to dry down, some of that fruit, some of that plum and fruit stays from the moment you spray this all the way into the deepest parts of the dry down. It never really goes away. It wouldn't surprise me if this had some form of like a leather in the background or something, because there is something that's kind of dark about this fragrance when it starts to dry down all the way. And for me, a lot of that driftwood note really starts to shine a little bit. And I think that's what I'm almost liking about this one the most. That driftwood, I don't know that I would be able to really pick it apart, but it definitely smells just different enough that kind of makes you want to come back and keep smelling on it. But once you get into those deepest layers of the dry down, the fragrance stays very, very linear after that point. After about the 30-minute range, it really just kind of gets straight. And for me, a lot of people say this is real salty. This is like a real mineral. I don't really get a lot of that in the dry down. I do get quite a bit of that in the opening, but it kind of fades away after about that 10 to 15 minute range. Once we get about that 30-minute mark, this just turns into a very nice, pleasant, kind of fruity wood smell, if I'm being honest. It stays a little warm, it stays a little cozy. It's not anything that's too extreme. This to me smells like by far the most complete fragrance in the line. Some of the other fragrances to me can get very cloying. Some of the other wasps can almost get a little bit boring. And not in a bad way that they smell bad, but just because they're so linear, there's no change, and the performance is so good, it can just lead to kind of a burnout on it. Because when you smell the exact same thing with this kind of performance for 6, 7, 8 hours, it does kind of get a little taxing on the senses. This one is softer to the other ones as far as like how it presents itself. This one has a little bit of like a subtleness to it. And I feel like that fruitiness is really what's going to help this give it more of a mass appeal vibe. I would not be surprised if this doesn't turn into one of their better sellers. Now, again, I haven't tried the Hawas Elixir. I'm sure with that being a Lamali Elixir spinoff, I'm sure it will be an absolute knockout, but I can't get my hands on that one quite yet. So if I had to give this fragrance a rating right now, I would give it an honest 9 out of 10. The only thing I'm going to knock it for, just a small hair, is it still does smell a little synthetic. As far as like the natural properties of this fragrance go, it is better than the other ones. But it still does kind of have that synthetic vibe. Due to the performance on this, which normally is an amazing thing, this fragrance can get a little linear. It can get a little taxing on you. This one can still have a little bit of that cloying nature with some of that fruit. I don't pick up on that, but I do understand that a lot of people with some of these fruity fragrances, they can be very headache inducing. They can be a little nausea inducing. But for the most part, I feel like this is a rock star release from Hawas. I genuinely enjoy this one. This is one that I'm probably going to be wearing a lot this spring. So with some of that fruitiness and wood, I really feel like this is going to lean to a spring fragrance for me. So I'm probably going to be hammering this one pretty hard. And I'll be pleasantly surprised to see how this one reacts to heat. Because that's kind of what Hawas was originally known for, was being summer monster fragrances. So I'm super excited to try this one out in that. But I think that is going to get us wrapped up for today. I'm going to go ahead and get it on this bottle one more time. The bottle presentation on this one is very good. It's the exact same as the other. One thing that I do like that they did is some of my other bottles do not have like the Rasasi monogrammed onto the top. They still got like this kind of snake vibe wrap. The cap does snap into place. And for the most part, the bottle quality I feel like is very good. I feel like this glass is a little bit thicker than some of the other ones I've had. My original Hawas I feel like doesn't weigh this much, but that is going to get us wrapped up. As always, thank you everyone for watching. Thank you everyone for subscribing, for sticking around, staying tuned, listen to me yap about how stuff smells. I truly appreciate it. We're creeping in on 1,200 subs. I'm going to be doing another giveaway at 1,200. We'll get into a little more details on that as it gets closer. But as always, thank you everyone for watching, and we'll see you next time.